All right, Ron Goodall, FightHype.com. I'm here with my guy, Frank the Ghost Martin. Man, it seemed like, it's been just a little bit that you've been gone from the sport of boxing. And,
Uh,
everybody's been wondering,
the
are we going to
fans ain't gonna
see?
say that. I've been gone for a decade. You ask them.
I know you're a type of fighter that likes to fight 3 times a year. So I just had to catch up and just ask, man, what's life been right now? How's everything been going? And when the potential of seeing you come back.
Man, I honestly just been chilling, man. I've been working in the meantime for a while. Even right after my fight, I had been in the gym, staying active and everything. So really, man, I just had been waiting on a call basically just to let me know when they get ready for a fight. I always try to stay ready, but I've been in the lab, man, just grinding, waiting on that call. We got something real soon. I can't put a date on it just yet, but in my head right now, and from the people I spoke with, we're gonna have something real soon.
Yeah, sometimes the boxing politics, right, gets kind of in
That's
the
what
way
it
a little bit.
is. That's what it is.
So in
Shit,
this
if I could
case,
fight 3 times a year, man, I'll be back to back. Keep me busy. Shit, I don't wanna, what I'm saying, just be sitting and being inactive,
mhm,
like shit, keep me busy. And then I'm gonna be ready every time it's time to fight.
mhm. I'm sure you've seen, and you take this in good faith, right? Because, you seem like a guy, that takes humor really well. But, I think Twitter, some people's been putting you on like a milk box and certain things. Like when you see those type of things, does it motivate you or you're just kind of like, you know, um,
It's both, you know what I'm saying? It motivate me, and then too, it's just like a lot of times people don't know what's going on. And
mhm,
then me, I'm quiet. I ain't really too much like I ain't that internet guy like everybody want me to be.
mhm,
Shit, I'm me, man. You got to be around me to see what's going on, but uh, like it don't bother me. It's just like y'all don't even know what's going on. So
mhm,
it pissed me off more than anything.
yeah.
When people saying stuff, it's just like y'all don't even know shit. Like a lot of people think it's me just trying to be inactive and not trying to be busy, but that ain't even the case.
Yeah. I know it's an easy narrative, right? That people think you had your biggest fight, pay-per-view, things like that. And, you
Yeah,
made a good amount of money, in that one particular fight. And it's like, all right, cool. Like that's it. And that's not the case.
no,
You've been calling,
hey,
reaching
nah.
out.
If I could, why stop with one fight? Why not keep running it up? You know what I'm saying? Why not?
Mhm.
Like, who wouldn't just sit back and just be chilling? Hell no, I'm trying to run it up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's get it. I'm trying to keep it going. And then too, just the inactivity, just far as a fighter, that ain't in my favor. Not being active. I want to be
Mhm.
active. Shit, I'm 30. These next couple years, I want to be active. Like as active as I can be. I want to be active.
Of course. You also told everyone that you're no longer fighting at 135 and you moving
Yeah.
up to 140. So, in specific details, just like what is the reason? Is it the fact that you felt like 135 was pushing your body too much, or do you just feel like you were be able to be able to compete, with certain guys and create great fights at 140?
Man, honestly, the last fight, even the fight before that, before the last fight, I lost, the weight cut, and then just too, I'm getting bigger. I got a lot of muscle. Everybody know that. Just naturally, like without lifting weights and all that stuff. I'm just naturally just my physique, just a strong stature. So I just feel like my last two weight cuts was real tough on me. My last fight, I got tired, probably like my legs after getting tired in probably like the fifth round, just from the weight cut and everything. So shit, I felt like my body shut down in that fight. So I was just like, shit, I'm gonna just move up to 140 and go from there. When I was an amateur, I fought at 141. When I turned professional, I went down to 35 and I was gonna work my way back up. But I feel like I'm gonna just be more comfortable at 41 now.
Hmm.
Shit, I'm trying to come cause hell at 140, so whoever want it, what I'm saying? Come get it.
Yeah, I saw you put a tweet. It was something like, "Y'all gonna have a long day in hell if you think you're gonna touch some fighters up at
Yeah,
140."
yeah.
Um, I know that you want to fight all the top guys, right? And specifically the champions, right? Um, is there just kind of a fighter that appeals a little bit more than the other? Is there there's Tio, there's Richardson Hitchens, there's Gary Antoine and Alberto Puello.
I ain't gonna lie, man. Anybody can get it. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I feel like AB. Anybody can get it. Shit. It could be Hitchens, man. It could be Rowley, Haney. It could be any of them big names. Ryan. That'd be a good one. If me and Ryan was to put something down just because we got something in common. We both train with the same trainer and you know, uh shit with us training with the same trainer and everything. I feel like it's a little story of, it'll be a little story behind it. So that'll be a fight too that I would like. Regis, any of them guys.
How would
Any
that
of
fight
them.
even go though? Like if you guys are with the same trainer, and I think he's at like 147 now. So like, how would that go?
I ain't sure. I ain't sure like far as the training side, but the weight size, we'll be able to do like a catch weight.
Hmm.
I could do something. I'll go to like 144.
Okay.
You know, I do a catch weight against some of the guys who like even Dev, like they done moved up to 147. I do a catch weight like 44. I ain't no small dude, so I could meet them wherever they want to meet at.
I know there's also because people don't, they don't know, but they kind of try to put pieces together. They see you over here in, Florida. They see you, around Buddy McGirt. But truth is,
Hmm.
you're still with Derrick James, and and there's no, all right, I've lost this one fight, and now, I'm not with Derrick James, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So basically, behind that right there is not me and Derek, right? Like we aren't this next fight. We won't be training together. It's not because of me, of my loss or none of that. It's just everything on our end is in good faith. It's no bad blood on my end, no bad blood on his end. But I am going to be training with Buddy McGirt moving forward. I'm gonna be training with Buddy McGirt as my head, and um, a guy named Marcos from Dallas. Moving forward for this next fight. So I'm just, I'm working.
Okay, so that's how the Ryan fight could happen. Buddy and Derrick on the opposite ends then.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure if
If Ryan, I mean, unless Ryan changes his trainer.
yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that situation though.
Hmm. Might still not be a thing, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure though.
Mhm.
So
So what made you what you think about Buddy McGirt then? As
I like Buddy. I
yeah.
like Buddy, man. I like Buddy. Like his work is, it's precise. Honestly, I feel like him and Derek, I wouldn't say like the training is similar, but it's just like the knowledge and the expertise of them as trainers, like those guys on a high level,
Hmm.
So me training with him, I'm looking forward to seeing how I'm gonna grow and just get better, which I know I am. I'm gonna grow, get better. Come out, this next fight. I feel like this next fight more important than anything, just because everybody want to see how I'm gonna come back.
Hmm.
See how I'm gonna bounce back, see how I'm gonna do. I'm coming back to cause hell, So when I come back, I want to put on the best. I want to get the fans the best. You know what I'm saying? Frank Martin that they can get and they can see. So I feel like the collaboration with me and Buddy and then Marcos, I think is gonna be some artwork for sure.
You ever watch some of his classics like what like
Oh
Tarver and
yeah,
Roy
oh
Jones and
yeah,
stuff like his,
oh yeah,
um
yeah.
what do you think of him as a fighter as well? Not just a trainer that had those magical moments, but yeah,
Buddy could fight. Buddy was slick. He was smooth. Like he was light on his feet. Buddy he was good. Buddy was slick. I like Buddy's style.
you know, I guess this is me kind of trying to put things together, but Buddy fought a guy from Norfolk, Virginia, Pernell Whitaker, and there was a
Mhm.
fight that seemed like you two were like this close. Like literally you guys were this close in person. But you and Keyshawn, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
it was a fight that even after the Ting fight, he was like, hey, respect to Frank. He wasn't going on like a trash talk or anything. Like respect to him. he shows he's at this level. I'm trying to show him at this level. Let's make the fight. And obviously, Keyshawn was able to get a title. You moved up to 140, but it seemed like it was a fight that was always going to happen at some point. And seeing now that,
It's it's a fight that still, it's still gonna happen.
hmm
Everybody pushing for the fight. I'm not fighting at 135 no more. I know he
hmm
probably ain't gonna be at 135 for too long either, but I ain't gonna stay at 135. So we can do something at 140. I'm with it. I'm all go. I'm a green light. So I wish him the best in his next fight. He get the dub and keep going. But I feel like De Los Santos a good fighter. I think he having some complications going on.
hmm
People don't know about, but for the most part, man, he go and do what he's supposed to do against De Los Santos. Like I'm with it. We can make something happen, but it'll have to be at 140. I'm not going back down to 135. I know he the champion right now, but for me, if everybody want to see the fight happen, it got to be at 140 for me. You know, I want to be comfortable at the weight that I fight at.
Yeah, and obviously at that point it would be a more electrifying fight where both fighters feel fresh, right? In the
Yeah,
sense
for
of
sure, for sure.
you
And I
know,
think he will. I think he'll come to 40. So
mhm.
I don't think that'll be a problem.
With that kind of opportunity when you were able to fight for a world championship, and it was able to fight what some people felt was the best champion at that particular time. What did you learn, like on a technical aspect, right? I know that you kind of
I,
discussed like your weight, could have probably been more suited at
to,
140.
to be honest, I ain't gonna lie to you. I be thinking about it. I ain't really think about my fight price like after the fight. But if we been honest, man, just if I would have won that fight, there's so much I probably would learn that I learned with taking that L. I learned a lot more taking that L than even if I would have got what I'm saying, a win. From that fight, man, it's a lot. I learned a lot from just being in the ring, the all the distractions that was going on around me, the everything, just being on that big stage, how people can try to put you in a certain situation. Like, man, I learned so much from the fight. So I'll never be on a stage that big again that I won't be ready or prepared for. It was a lot of like outside of fighting the fight. There was a lot of shit in the background that was going on that kind of played on my mental no matter what. Like I knew going into that fight, it was gonna be a lot of stuff like that going on, but I was just blocking it out. Like mentally I'm super strong. So everything that was going on, like I'm just knowing like they trying to fuck with me mentally. They're trying to do this, they're trying to do that. So I was just trying to keep that blocked out of my head. But, in reality it was still certain things fucking with me in my mind. But uh man, moving forward, it's a lot that I learned from that fight. So the stage, the magnitude, it would never be that big again. As far as like fighting another fighter, I feel like at that stage, I got to experience it and moving forward, shit. Everybody else, they gotta shit. What I went through, they gotta go through what I went through. Whoever fight me, they gonna go through what I went through.
You speak about it sounds like the just fighting on a big stage, right? Like, you probably were training real well, you were boxing
Mhm.
really well. A lot of people feeling like essentially if the fight went the distance, it was slowly favoring in your fashion until, things changed towards the end. But for the most part, that big stage feeling that you kind of speak of, did that actually affect your actual fighting though? Like I guess
I don't think that it affected the fight. I don't think that it affected my fight because I was so locked in, man, on winning. Like I
mhm,
wanted that spot, I wanted that position. So I was really so focused on winning. But like when I think back, like me just being in the ring, like I blocked everything out, from the time I walked in the ring and everything. But like my to this day, I don't know if me getting tired in the fight was because of the atmosphere and
mhm,
all of that, and just the nervousness of the fight, or was it because I lost all of the weight that I lost? It was
mhm.
it's a mixture. It's been on my mind, like not now, but it's just been one of them things. Like, damn, was it the magnitude of the fight that got me tired, more tired, or was it the weight cut? It's one of
Hmm.
them things like I don't know. I don't know what it was, but shit, I'm moving up because I felt like it possibly could have been the weight, and it could have been a crowd. It could be both.
Hmm. I appreciate your transparency because, a lot of times you hear people speak about things like that, and I believe you're being genuine. So when you take that, experience into the next fight, is it just the fact that you're kind of just comfortable to perform essentially in front of regardless of the magnitude of the size, right? Like it's like the first time you box, but then you bring your friends and family, and you're like, all right, I've been practicing in the gym, but
It's like
but
you
it.
do. It's like you do more. I ain't gonna lie. Like if you go watch my fights, like that fight, I was more like I wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't relaxed like I needed to be relaxed. I wasn't really like I wasn't me. I'm fighting one of the biggest names in the sport, and then too, like we got history already. So I
Mhm,
wasn't all the way. I wasn't all the way who I'm supposed to be in that fight either.
mhm.
So
What would you say like was the difference? Because you guys sparred, and I know kind of we talked how the sparring essentially went, but either
mhm.
or, was there a difference from like Tank that you saw from sparring? Like, did he have like a different, or did it just still felt? Because you
Nah,
guys had a good sparring match.
my fight, like to be honest, the fight wasn't a hard fight. The fight wasn't like a fight like where I was just like, damn, like I can't do nothing. It is just a hard fight. It was just like more of I was fighting a fight of I was fighting like in I felt like urgency. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. You know what I'm saying? Like I just wasn't me. I wasn't comfortable in the ring. I was fighting more like anxious, instead of just being relaxed and comfortable doing me. Like I ain't fighting my fight in that fight.
Did you feel like you were ahead on the scorecards? Because I know the fight Saturday with Caleb Plant, it seemed like he's not saying you, but like he's been considered like a front runner. So it seems like he would try to pile up and win the early rounds. And then if he makes it through the second half, because he thought he won 7-5, and he's thinking, all right, I won five
So
out of the
Taylor talk.
six. You said
That's
what?
Taylor talk.
Yeah, like Caleb thought he won 7 out of 5. So he kind of was like, I banked five here, and I had at least banked one or two in the second half. So, did you feel like you were ahead and you had to kind of like do, you know what I mean? Like because you're
Yeah.
fighting Tank, the A side.
Yeah, no, I know one thing about it. Like fighting him is like honestly, I feel like even if the fight would have went the distance, they still wouldn't have gave me the fight. I feel like they still was gonna take it from me. Because at the end of the day, that's their star. That's who making them the money. Like it's a couple fighters, that's big names that's bringing in the most money, right? So if you ain't knocking these motherfuckers out, like they gonna take it from you every time.
Hmm.
So even if I feel like even if I would have went the fight would have went the distance, they still would have took that fight from me. Even when I got dropped, my 10 count was so fast. The 10 count was super fast. I had the same ref Devin Haney had when he fought Ryan, and he gave Devin a million chances. I get dropped, I stand up on my own, I do everything. He counted me out. I could have grabbed, I could have did everything to shake back, but he counted me out.
Which my last thing on it is like what do you, since the fight's over, and I know that fighters have respect for each other. I know he has respect for you, you have respect afterwards, like a brotherhood thing. But what do you think about him as a fighter? Do you think he's the best at 135?
Yeah, I think Tank nice. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with Tank as a person. I know
Hmm.
he go through like, boxing, everything, you know what I'm saying? It's fake. From the fans to the people in the sport, like all this shit is fake. So
Hmm.
I can like feel like if you notice he don't really be in the media or none of that much. In his fight
Hmm.
time, he gonna tap in and do what he's supposed to do, or he gonna do his little tweets when it's fight time. But for the most part, he don't really be fucking with a lot of people on the boxing scene because it's just like it's fake.
Hmm.
It's all fake. So just as a person, I like dude. I ain't got no bad blood towards him. He got the win and shit. I wish him the best on everything he got going moving forward.